maybe it wasn't stagnation exactly. It was more like maybe I just need to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recover and then get back into it again.
A creative injury.
Yeah.
And you need to recover from.
Yeah.
True.
Basically. So there is like the feeling of plateauing,
Yeah.
but in essence, it's like rest is really important. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Take 2
Cinema Edition.
We got Kurt.
What's up?
Got David.
Oh, no, I just burped.
No, it's okay. I'm just joking. I was just mirroring. Oh. And today I have to kind of do the Batman turn because I kicked my neck from sneezing. It's been so cold, man.
It's because you're 30.
Yeah, probably.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh.
As soon as my birthday kicked, your body's dead. You're dead to me now.
You are retiring.
Your body's a temple, a crumbling, disappearing temple.
An ancient ruin.
Yeah. That's fucking...
Well, that's sad.
That's sad. So sad. But yeah, on the topic of today, just something I've been thinking about quite often is stagnation. So when you're doing anything in life, you want to get better.
Yeah.
Whether that's a sport, life, a skill, whatever it is, you want to get better at something. So for me, filmmaking, I want to get better every year. Not even every year, I just want to see progress. But there came a time, especially last year, where it feels like I just kind of stopped. I mean, I did kind of hit the pause button, but mentally, physically, everything just sort of hit a pause, hit snooze, and just went back to bed.
Yeah.
So now coming back into this year where it's like, oh, actually not even this year, sorry. Just the last month.
Yeah.
Where things are picking up again, more jobs coming through, just having that more mature mindset coming into everything. Where do I go from here to pick things up again and get better at what I do?
Yeah.
And that's why I've been thinking so much about stagnation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, what are some things that kind of hit you as well in terms of feeling like you stagnated, and what are some things that you feel like you can do to overcome that?
True. That's a very loaded question. Where do you
We'll start
want
with the first one. Like, when did you feel like you kind of hit like a plateau, or like do you feel like you sort of stopped improving in the stuff that you want to improve in?
I feel like I don't really.
And if you don't really have a time, I guess, like, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think like in terms of stagnating, like, you know, every July 1 to June 30.
Yep.
The Australian fiscal year. Like the financial year. So like you kind of go, okay, well, how do we go? Like what are revenues and like, you know, like what's our expenses and like how do we go profit wise and all that stuff, like to me. And like, you know, we went from like, that was good to, damn, that was really good to, what the fuck was that? To, okay, well, now we've got to try and figure out like how to like get back into it again. So it wasn't really like a stagnation. It's more like a regression.
Oh no.
Yeah. What was the question again?
Well, I mean, honestly, personally for you though, like maybe not the business, whereas like, like,
Oh, like I sort of hit a wall?
yeah, like where do you feel like, and how do you feel when you hit a wall? Whether that's like your skills in filmmaking or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like one of the main like walls that I've kind of hit that I have never overcome, like because typically,
Yeah, let's start there. What's a wall that you've hit? Yeah.
Air flares, man.
Oh shit! I remember that you put like a whole thing together as well.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like if I had kept training it, it's just like the thing about like air flares and stuff. It's just that it's so slow progressing.
Yeah.
And like it'll gradually get more and more like intense, but like you have to be disciplined to it. And like because at the time, you know, I was doing like that, running, like burpees, like exercise, and like, you know, like we were learning like to animate and doing all these different things. So I was just like, okay, well, there's all these other things that are like that I actually care for a lot more. That's kind of why I sort of took a step back from like dancing and breaking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, I really love it, and it's a good expression. Every now and then I'll throw down,
Yeah.
but I'm not like, you know, like really dedicated to try and make that my thing. So I think I just like shifted priorities. That could just be a total, like, not even a thing. Maybe I just gave up. Like, you didn't stagnate because you quit, you little bitch.
You're just like, nah, not doing it. Yeah. No, actually, that's a really interesting point because, like, it really is about shifting priorities as well. Because the same thing for me with dancing. Like, it's not that I don't love it. I still love it. But there's other stuff that I like, not even like more than it, but have kind of entered my life that feels more important to me at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like head spins, right? Like I was getting like good progress when I was like learning them, but then I was like, oh fuck, every time I do it, like my head gets raw and like my scalp starts to peel. And I'm like, I know where this is gonna lead. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got to deprioritize this. Like maybe it's just something that I won't be able to achieve in my life, and I'm fine with that. Yeah. I don't. If you're looking for help, like, you know, something to make you feel better, I don't know if that's gonna be what. Sure. By the way, it's just not important to me anymore.
Yeah. Well, I guess like what is something that's been like a long running thing that you've like, say you've been doing, then you hit a wall, but you still want to go back to it, and then you try it again, and then you hit another wall, and you keep going.
Oh, like to move past it?
Yeah, to move past it.
Well, like, you know, I guess like with basketball,
Oh, yeah.
like we train a lot with that, but I wouldn't say at all that I'm any good, but I just enjoy it. I think like that's what kind of helps keep me stay into it, like just trying to focus on like one tiny little thing at a time.
Yeah.
Because like overall, like, you know, like my progression, like when you first like learn is like really quick. And then like when you want to like get better, you've got to really dial down into like the small different details. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like no amount, like there's like your energy will take you so far.
That's so true.
And then after that, it's just discipline. Like how often are you going to be able to like, you know, just practice those things over and over and over again to get used to it and get better?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like some basketball stuff, but I don't really want to say that I'm like, yeah, I've gotten better and I'm like much better at it because I'm like still working on it.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But I can say like
accepted.
Objectively there has been a big improvement.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel as though like maybe that mindset never really hit me in terms of like stagnation.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm throwing you off right now. Just like you're really giving me nothing, you jerk.
No, I'm just kind of curious because like,
how about you?
well, let's talk about me. Well, like with filming, right?
Finally,
finally got over all that shit.
All right, cool. Anyway, about me.
Yeah, so like with filming, right? Like in the previous year, again, going hitting that pause button, whatever. I think like because I've been doing it for such a long time, it gets to a point where even though I might be improving, I feel like at times I don't know if I am, or I can't tell if I am.
Yeah.
And that also adds that feeling of plateauing or stagnating a bit.
I found your parallel.
What?
To that. So like, sorry to jump in. But
No, go for it, man.
On a game by game basis.
Here we go.
like my skill is kind of like it's just like flatlining. And so like if you look at it, like every time I go, because like when you play basketball or like when you go to do something, you train, and then like there's that showtime, one game.
Yeah.
And then like you benchmark that, and then you kind of, because we do stats. And so like you sort of see like the stats, and it's just like,
yeah, you want to see the numbers go up. Yeah.
But it's like,
it's just flatline.
like, somebody call the ambulance.
Yeah.
It's dead. Oops. Sorry. It's dead. It's dead.
Yeah.
But like, the reason why I don't see it as a stagnation is because like I'm not trying to base how I do in each game. But like in saying that, if I don't practice or do anything in the middle, and it's like here, and then like there's a time off, and then there's like another game in a month, like I just feel like a complete shit cunt. Like I haven't like improved at all. Like I'm just trash. I'm just like, will I ever get better against these people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, where do you go from there though? Like, where do you go from there? From that thought?
I feel as though like my mindset to it is like I am not good.
Yeah.
Like I'm so far from like making, like being where I want to be and like where I kind of picture myself in my mind. Because like in my mind, I'm like, you know, I got the moves, I can like shoot really good and do all this stuff. And like there's all these different things that like I've achieved. And so like I'm just kind of like working towards those still. But I think it's just like kind of understanding what it's going to take to get there and just asking like heaps and heaps and heaps of help. And even if it's like the basics, like sounds stupid, but like I'm like, okay, well, I want to do this move. Like I'm saying to like my friends in the team, and like I want to do this move where like, you know, you like move this one side and then you go to the other side and like people fall over because they're chasing you.
Ankle breakers.
Yeah, exactly. It's an ankle breaker. Like it's a cross.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, cool. Well, you have to be comfortable with bouncing, like dribbling the ball with the other hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. All right, cool. I'm just going to dribble the ball with my other hand. And then like, you know, I know 100% I'm not going to be able to, you know, do a crossover on someone if like I can't even bounce the ball with my right hand.
Yeah.
So like that the whole time I'm just focusing on that. And like when I play games and stuff, I'm just focusing, like for a whole season, I'll just focus on like just getting one move per game.
Yeah.
So then the rest of it is like, it's okay if I'm not like the best shooter or the best whatever. I'm just focusing on like, I just want to do this one thing, like making sure that that's my focus. And if I don't do that one thing good in this game, then the next game I've got to like, is like a steal, for example.
Yeah.
So I'll focus on stealing the ball for every single game. At least as long as I do it once per game.
You're stealing off your teammates. I'm practicing, man.
Like, it's my goals. Yeah. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just like focusing, like breaking it all the way down. And even if it's like, you just bounce the ball with your right hand. Like if I bounce the ball with my right hand in a game, I'm like, fucking, I'm LeBron.
From here to LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'm patting myself on the back because I'm like, yeah, like that's cool. Like you did well that one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because I feel like otherwise, like I'm 5'2", I fucking can't shoot very well, can't dribble the ball very well. I can run really well, but like, you know, there's no really redeeming qualities. It's just the fact that like you're like working on the small things to get better and better.
Yeah.
But if I get that down, then I can do the other move. And then when I do the other move, then I can definitely do the other move. So it's like, okay, cool. I've got it. Just like one tiny bit at a time.
Yeah. So it's just like kind of bringing it down to its nuances and focusing on those details and like building those pieces up.
Yeah. I think like for that example, though, it's a bit easier because there's like more people who have done it.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking them directly to like kind of coach me.
Oh, it's always helpful that way.
Yeah. But I think that like, to be honest, you kind of just need someone to be like, hey, like, yeah, that's it. Like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because like in your mind, it's kind of like this, like, it's like this bigger thing than it is.
Yeah.
But if you're like, you're just doing it and then they're like, oh yeah, like that's the move. Just do that. And you go do it again. And you go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's just that someone's there like validating it along the way, who's done it already. If that is an equal parallel to kind of like what you were thinking.
Totally the opposite. No, it's actually
my house.
No, it's actually it's very on the mark. So like, kind of links back to what we were talking about before, but like, so again, just to sort of like contextualize it all, it's like, all right, I feel like I'm not leveling up in my head. I'm kind of trapped in my head saying like, I don't feel like I'm leveling up. I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But talking about that whole validation aspect, So that's another reason why I feel like it's been so good to get out there and meet more people and work with more different people.
Yeah.
And just be friends with more people, because like they're the outside eyes that can help to then say like, hey, actually your work has gotten better, or hey, I love what you're doing, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Or they help to validate like the process and the steps that you're taking. And that way you also meet other people who can, give you more insight to other perspectives and other things that can help you upskill, because if you're just by yourself, it's like an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And that echo chamber is going like,
Oh man.
you're shit, you're not good enough, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not good enough? And then you look at things and it's like you're comparing yourself to other people, like why are they all better than you? Like everyone else is getting better. Why aren't you getting better?
Yeah.
They're doing new good things. Why aren't you doing good things? And you're just sitting there going like, fuck, kind of driving yourself a little bit crazy. So like, actually that's a very valid parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having that affirmation, that confirmation by other people that you're actually improving, and also giving you valuable information and value to get better as well.
Oh, I think like the main thing about it is like the feedback that I get. It's not just like, oh, you're doing a good job.
It's not just like a pat on the back. It's actually like constructive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so it's very, very actionable. So they're like, say for example, if I want to get better on defending, I'm going to be like, so how? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And then they're like, check the feet, check the hips, check the blah, 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 blah. Like, this is what you're looking out for. So when I'm there, as long as I'm looking out for it, even though like they're flying past me, I'm just like, oh, I can sort of see it now. And it's like, if I don't, then, on the 25th time that they pass by me. Yeah. But I think like it's because like I've got zero pressure, because I feel as though like my general sentiment is like, for people, is like, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's enthusiastic about it and he wants to get better. So that when I play with other people, their general sentiment is like, oh, he likes it, he wants to get better, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Not very good, but like he's having the time of his life. So
I value that more as well than someone who's got all the skills but an absolute like shit person to be with.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I'd rather someone who's like enthusiastic, full of energy, and has the right intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh wait, I was like, I mean,
yeah.
but luckily you also fulfill the other side where you're very good at what you do.
And you're also an asshole.
Yeah. But funny enough, like, I guess like my version of that would be like climbing, where I climb with people, majority of people who are actually better than me.
Yeah.
And so that's where I get like a lot of that feedback from as well. It's like when I'm trying to do something, it's like, oh, actually try this. Like this might actually help. And I'll try. I'll be kind of shit at it. And then after a while, I'm like, it clicks and I'm like, sweet, I just unlocked like the next stage, the next level. It's like on to the next thing I suck at,
Yeah.
So, and that's actually why I thought about this whole stagnating thing, because like, with the whole injuries and stuff, that's like, oh, I got to hit the pause button and recover before I can start improving again.
Yeah.
And then it reminded me of me of like filming and stuff. And I was like, maybe it wasn't stagnation exactly. It was more like, maybe I just need to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And recover and then get back into it again.
A creative injury.
Yeah.
And you need to recover from.
Yeah.
True.
Basically. So there is like the feeling of plateauing.
Yeah.
But in essence, it's like rest is really important.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that's what made me kind of think about that. I was like, oh shit, like you can try to rush the process, but when things take a certain amount of time to get better at, you have to kind of respect that.
Yeah.
You can't break the rules in that sense. It's like the rules of the universe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when, like, I guess, like when it comes to your filmmaking stuff, like, do you feel as though like you've stagnated?
Yes. I'd say the feeling is still there, but the more I sit on it, it's like, it really feels more like I kind of hit pause rather than like, I don't know what to do. Because I think like what I need to do, it's all out there.
Yeah.
It's about just being proactive about it now and just going out there and doing it. Whereas like this like pause or stagnation or plateau, whatever you want to call it, was more of an intentional, like, let's stop for a second.
Yeah.
Just to let the whiplash kind of slow down a bit, just like get nice and comfortable again before I go out there and get a bit wild. Yeah.
So I guess like in terms of what your next like, I don't want to say. I was about to spit some jargon at you. No, it's not even jargon actually. I think it's real. Like, what's your next like micro goal?
Yeah.
Like what's the one thing that you want to kind of like try out next, or like try and get better at?
Music videos. That's a
Yeah.
big one for me. Just more and more music videos, because I think that really exercises that muscle of not just enjoying yourself but being as creative as possible. Because it's an area where you can really experiment with concepts and just try things out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still the limitations of like working with the musician who is technically a client,
Yeah.
but when it just sort of like has that magic sort of formula where you can come together and be like, hey, let's just try stuff.
Yeah.
There's not much other work in this type of field that allows you to sort of break those grounds and do anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I find music videos to be like that next, micro goal. Yeah.
Okay, so with that too, so what is it specifically that you want to try out in your next music video?
Well, one of them is actually a bunch of things, to be honest.
Yeah.
One of them is using the Asteras more.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because they've just been fucking like sitting around just, gathering dust, even though they're in the case.
Yeah.
Gathering dust in the case. So I have some ideas on how I want to rig them up and use them. Other small things like just splashing water on the ground for some reflections and using the Asteras as well, and just like getting this like bigger sense of space and depth in the shot too.
Yeah.
I told you about the whole like infinite ladder sort of thing, like that very like pop art eye candy sort of vibe.
Yeah.
I had this other visual as well with like using phones. Like it's because I was talking to Kaya about this again. Shout out to Kaya. Every podcast, shout out to Kaya.
Gang.
Yeah.
Hey, you better be on this next one.
I know, right? Like one of the ideas I had was to have like the use of like old dial phones,
Yeah.
but like the cord, like the cord of the phone, like dangling from the ceiling with the phone hanging as well, but like several of them in a room.
Oh.
And it's meant to sort of like symbolize like a relationship. Like for example, like the cord's tied around their necks and they're sort of like leaning forward, like kind of towards each other, but the phones are holding the back. And just other visual ideas using like just the phone itself. And then on top of that, like other set ideas I want to try out. There was this one thing I want to do, was like to build like just a simple square bedroom, but have water in it, like up to like the
Fuck.
knees.
Yeah, that's hectic.
Yeah, just stuff like that, and maybe even underwater shoots too. So you can kind of see like my head's like, oh, I want to try some stuff,
True, yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
No, it was just like more like, what's kind of like some things that you want to experiment with? Because how,
that's right. Sorry.
I guess like when you feel as though you've like hit a point where you're like, oh shit, I can't like get past this. So you kind of like break it down to like, oh, you have a plan. Like the plan is just like to work on one tiny thing at a time.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking hectic though. Like to be honest, I'm keen to see this crazy shit.
But yeah, that's why I'm so adamant. I'm like just lining up more of this type of stuff because I'm like, oh, I want to really do this. Where else can we really do that type of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and music just kind of makes the soul move as well. So yeah, just works out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, because I was just thinking like, if that's kind of like how you were feeling about it, then like, on that same parallel, do you have like other people that you look up to, like in terms of like their work? Like, would you reach out? Would you feel comfortable to reach out to them and be like, hey, how did you do this? Or like, hey, I'm trying this.
It's an interesting question because like I think, I need therapy. So like this links back to how I was kind of raised. It's to not ask questions it's to always be the perfectionist. It's to always be the best in the room.
Yeah.
But over time, that doesn't make any fucking sense because it's just, that's like really idealistic thinking. No one can be perfect. No one can be the best of the best. And also you can't learn without asking questions.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, you need mentors. You need people that can help you so that you can learn. Otherwise, like, it's just a circle jerk or an echo chamber that you're just stuck in.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe when I was younger, I didn't really think about that stuff. But these days, it's like when I can get the chance to, like, message someone or ask someone, like, oh, how did this work? Or, like, what was that? Like, I'll do it, like, without really thinking too much about it. There's still sometimes the nerve where I'm like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. Like,
Yeah.
what if they just ignore me? Or, like, what if, like, they tell me, like, to fuck off? Or, like, you know, or they just tell me some, like, very short, like, handed,
Like conceited kind of thing.
conceited, yeah, or, like, they just don't care.
Yeah.
You know, what if? But it's like, fuck, if that's the case, then, oh, well, then I'll just move on to something else then. Like, it's, don't take it personal. It's not anything personal. You don't personally know this person. So, like, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, I just want to learn, and that's my intention, and I want to be better, and I want to get better. So there really is nothing holding me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but I
cool.
need therapy. I'm just kidding.
Nah, I mean, like you got to sort of see that in yourself as well. Like,
Yeah.
because if you're good at something, then like there's the sense of pride that kind of comes with it too.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I guess to be fair, like me, my whole life I've been like smaller than other people, like not as talented as people, not as like fast as people, or whatever it might be. So like my mentality is always going like, yeah, this person could probably beat me, but in my mind I'm like, but I can probably beat them.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, kind of just being like, yeah, I'm awesome, but this person's probably like, you know, better at me than this, and I'm just like, oh, I can just like steal their powers, like sell.
Yeah. Your power is my power.
Into my final form.
Yeah, because, like, going back to the whole mindset of, like, you know, to be the best and be a perfectionist, it actually does the opposite effect because it just, the self-doubt seeps in.
Yeah.
Because there's so much pressure to perform at the best that you start second guessing everything that you do because you start realizing it's impossible to be the best.
Yeah.
And then that automatically equates to, I must be shit then.
True.
But yeah, so like that's why, again, like, I find it so valuable and important to try to go out there and collaborate and work with other people and just be out there and meet other people, because you're going to learn so much, even if you don't vibe with them, even if you don't see things the same way or like have the same style or aesthetic or whatever, you're still going to learn something at the end of the day, whether it's like good or bad, it's still going to teach you something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think nowadays it's, you know, to push on to that next level, I found that like reaching out to other things and things outside of my realm
Yeah.
is one of the best ways to learn. I had this thought the other day as well. I'm like, borderline like, oh man, like boomer thought. It's like, I was thinking about, you know, like say TikTok and other mediums,
TikTok-y.
other forms of like expressing oneself and like the way other people think. And I sat down and went like, fuck, like, did I just suddenly get closed-minded? Like, what happened? Like, I'm putting down certain things
Yeah.
and not even like opening myself up to think more broadly about them,
Yeah.
or being more just being more accepting about this type of stuff. And I went like, oh my god, like, when did I get this way?
Yeah. Have I become a hater?
Yeah. And I just stopped and I went like, okay, let's just forget about that shit and let's just focus on what I want to get better at.
Yeah.
Let's not think about it. Like, it's not a big deal.
And so you'll find David
On TikTok.
at
Make sure to
Dimension.
Make sure to follow. There's going to be more content.
Yeah. But if he does, dope. That's cool.
I have been thinking about putting some stuff on there. So, like, you know, it's just,
If you feel uncomfortable with TikTok, you can also do just like Instagram Reels.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's really that thought process, or like shifting that mindset to not get trapped
Yeah.
because like, okay, so I brought up like 3D is going to be like the next big thing. I really, really believe that the 3D realm is the next stepping stone. It's going to be the next big groundbreaking thing.
Yeah.
It's like in the last decade, videography has become like this huge fucking industry disruptor because it's so accessible now.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it. Anyone can pick up a camera, become a freelance, and do all that shit. When I first started, it was like, this is new. Like, not many people doing this.
Yeah.
People just starting out. And there's only a few couple like main big sort of names out there who are doing it and teaching other people. But now it's like everywhere.
Everyone. Yeah.
And then that turned into like other areas, graphics design. I mean, that's been going for a while, but like a lot of different medias, right? But what I feel like now, especially in the last few years, is 3D is going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next big media form that's going to break grounds. So what I've been doing recently, I kind of forgot to tell you, but I've been jumping back on Blender.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's not that I want to like be like a fucking full pro and specialize in that, but I want to get to a point where it's like I want to be comfortable with it, like I am with like After Effects or Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve as well. Like I want to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
To a point where like, hey, actually I have an idea, and that's another thing. For a music video idea, I want to do something where it feels like faking that they're underwater, but in a way that's stylized, so it's fake that they're underwater, and you can do like hair animations as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to put like 3D elements that don't look real. It's the 3D element. It's that style. Like 3D fish just like floating in front, like.
But it doesn't look like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a specific style.
Yeah.
And even like to that point, like I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, I'm going to learn Blender properly.
Yeah.
So I've been jumping back onto that recently, just like spending a couple hours, like every couple days here and there, like throughout the week.
Yeah.
Just sort of like trying to learn a new skill and like reopening that door to getting more experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick though, because like it's like, I guess if you're a Puritan, and you go like, oh, this is like my one, like this is my one approach and my one single medium, and this is the only thing I will touch. It's like, well, you're like totally missing out on everything else that could have just been like, help to create your vision, like and your expression.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
Because like, when you have an idea and you kind of realize like, I can't express this because I haven't allowed myself to express this. It's like, oh shit, it's because I haven't taught myself how to. So it's now time to learn.
Yeah.
And that's like another thing that sort of adds to that stagnation feeling where it's like, oh, I can't do this because I can't do this. It's like, well, if I can't do this, I guess I should learn how to do it. Oh, okay. Well, that's the next step. I should just learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Or find a place to learn it, or find a person or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's the main thing to like being okay with like the slow progress.
Yeah.
Because like every small thing that you do is kind of like helping push you towards where you want to go, rather than having all the pressure of just being better.
Yeah.
And like it's so tough. Like if you don't have like those tiny little bits, like when you do running training, for example, like it's not all just like if you're trying to like build your distance, you're not going like, all right, cool. Today I do 10, tomorrow I do 11, the next day I do 12. It's like, that's a fucking kilometer, man. Like that's heaps.
It's a lot.
But if you like, you vary it up and you're doing like, you're running short, you're doing short distances, but you're full sprinting. And then on the second day you're doing medium runs. And then on the third day you're doing like long distance runs at a very chilled pace. And you don't even realize like you've already built your capacity.
Yeah.
But because like you're varying it up to like try and get to like that end goal, it doesn't have to like necessarily be like, you want to be better at this, be better at this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps, man. That's tough.
Yeah. I think like it's like it's something that like kind of causes a bit of anxiety as well, where when you get to that point of like plateauing, that's when a lot of that self-doubt kicks in.
Yeah.
And then you get to that point of like anxiety as well, where you're just like, oh shit, like, and then all those thoughts like kind of just point at like, why aren't you getting better? Why aren't you getting better? I think with like filmmaking though, it is a bit hard to sort of measure objectively like how much you're getting better, because it is, you know, an art form technically.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard. You can't say like, oh, this red has to be more redder for your image to look better.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, subjectively speaking, I want it to be less red.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a bit harder in the filmmaking world to like measure how good you're getting. So I've been trying to dial down on like what are the things that I can sort of measure.
Yeah.
And some of those things are like, am I working with people that are lifting me up?
Yeah.
Am I getting more of those kind of experiences? If not, go and do more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or try to find more of that stuff. Do I find myself repeating the same thing over and over again to the point where I'm not exploring newer ideas? Yes. Okay, then try to find more of those opportunities to explore those new ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been trying to do that to sort of measure where I am. Otherwise, it is a bit hard to sort of be like, oh, yeah, this thing about your image, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like,
And also getting feedback as well.
yeah, feedback is a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what, like, a super important one. Actually, I can't just brush past that. Like, I feel like if you've got like peers or people that you find, you know, like kind of know or have achieved something that you want to achieve, if you're asking them and they're able to give you that direct feedback, that's like super valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, because like with some of the stuff at work, like, you know, like there's a certain level of things. Like if I'm training people, you know, I'm not going to, like, the content that's being trained is like, it's data, it's information. Like, you know, like up to a certain point, like just make sure that it's relevant. Then after that, like the training really comes down to like how it's presented, and like you can present it in a way where, like, you know, you can hear how you present it. Like, do I sound a little bit like, you know, weak? Like, is my voice like not strong? Like, do I not have that confidence? And so like, there's like that end. And then also I'm like, okay, so how do I feel about it? Like, do I feel confident when I'm presenting? And like, that's one of the main things is like, do I feel as though I'm confident every time I go to do the thing that I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
Like if it's very subjective, you know what I mean? Because like some people can love it, some people can hate it depending on style.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, for me personally, do I feel like I'm confident that I can just deliver this at a very high like level every single time? That was like what I found like super helpful, because I was like,
yeah,
it's performance really. Like if you're training people, you're trying to engage with people and like make things interesting, and also like deliver content in a way that's like like informative.
Yeah.
Gets them to like understand what you're saying, plus like sort of sticks with them. And so, you know, if you sound unsure about what you're talking about, not a really good indicator for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you can like hear it in yourself, and then if other people tell you how you go as well.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, confidence. I feel like confidence is like a big one too, if it's like an intangible.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think like with filmmaking, like self-evaluating yourself is again like a bit of a tough one. But I guess another way to put it is like with filmmaking, definitely it's hard to self-evaluate, and that's why it's very important to get other people to help. Even though it is subjective, it's still about getting different perspectives, because you might not agree with someone's opinion about your work, but it's a different opinion, and it's about being able to accept that and understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like, it's like, for example, watching someone's movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not everyone's taste, but everyone's able to break it down in some form, whether it's like little dot points or whatever about what they liked and what they didn't like, or what they thought could have improved it or whatever. And I think that's all really valuable in terms of like helping the person who made it learn a bit more as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the way I've been kind of thinking about like filming, like self-evaluating like my skill level, or not even my skill level, just skill level in general for filmmaking.
Yeah.
Because it really is, again, like hard to put numbers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like the one thing to kind of bring it back to the original parallel in the fourth multiverse.
Yes.
Is like, you know, if there's big gaps between like the times where you get to test out your capability, then the pressure for the second one is really high.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, cool, I did something, I feel like I did all right. And then the next one's like much, much later.
Yeah.
And like essentially every time you do something is your practice.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, if you're like doing practice like way, way later, it's like, oh shit, the pressure to get better is just like, hey, get better. Whereas like if you like smash out like a bunch of them like often, I feel like that's like a nice way to, I guess, just like take the pressure off.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's just like, okay, well, I'm just doing a bunch of things. Like if I, like when we play basketball like every week,
Yeah.
I'm like, every time it goes to game day, I'm like, oh shit, I'm like trembling.
Yeah.
Because I'm
the
like, oh
nerves.
shit, I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I get you.
Because like, oh, I have to deliver. And then like if you do well, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. But if you don't do well, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But like if you're playing throughout the week and like, you know, you're kind of seeing like, all right, like this is a little bit better, or like maybe I need to like, you know, focus on this one thing. It's kind of like, because I'm doing it so often, it feels as though I've got like just a bit more chance to get better.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like the tiniest little things.
Yeah. I used to kind of feel that way about battles, like breaking battles.
Oh, true.
Like the nerves would kick in. Because I'm like, I train and I'm like, some moves, I'm like, oh man, it's like 50-50 chance of hitting it, you know?
Yeah.
And like I get the nerves, I'm like, oh man, don't fuck this up in the battle. Don't fuck this up in the battle. And then when you go out there and you perform and you do it and you're like, fuck yeah, bring on anything.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's like, doesn't even fucking matter if I crash, like whatever, like I'm good. I got over the nerves.
Yeah.
And then rinse and repeat. Next battle's coming up. Fuck, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just like the more you do, then like it gets just a little bit easier to,
Yeah.
like, even if you screw up, you're like,
Ah, well.
there's another one coming up. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it definitely got that way. Like the feeling numbed down over time. Like, I mean, it's been over a year since I've entered a battle, but like the last time I entered a battle, like I barely had any nerves. I just went up there. I was just like, just another day in the office.
Yeah.
You know, even if I kind of like slipped up or forgot stuff, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, live to fight another day. It's fine.
Do you feel like you have that same level of confidence when it comes to like filmmaking?
No, but I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because that means I have so much more ground to break. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. I like that.
The negative mindset for that is, God, I'm shit. But it's about switching that around and being like, no, it's a good thing because it means I have so much room to explore and get better at. Because if I'm getting validation at this point that I'm good, but I feel like I have so much to learn and get, that means I can become so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, to be honest, I struggle a lot with like keeping myself focused on that mentality.
Yeah.
Because like every time the cracks kind of appear, it's like, you're shit. It like kind of whispers.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no. Oh God, no, I'm shit. No, stop. I can't sleep and shit. I'm like lying in bed. I'm like, oh my God, why can't I be better than this?
Yeah.
And it's just like, take a breath. You're all right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And then just flipping that around and being like, all right, it's okay. You don't know this stuff, but that's cool. Like, let's find that joy in learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, not finding that joy. Let's learn stuff and feel that joy of learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find stuff to learn and feel the joy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to keep reiterating.
No, it's because like I think with like, you know how like the whole like your shit kind of thing, like
Yeah.
I get that heaps as well, like with all the stuff that I'm trying to do, but then like part of me is just going like, for now, like your shit for now. Everyone starts off shit.
Yeah. See, mine is like, there's no in between. It's like, you're either you're shit or it's okay, you get better. There's no like little word of support in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like I guess, you know, like when you're like, okay, like give it your best shot, and then like, you know, you like learn from this.
Yeah.
Or like, no, is that like not?
It takes me.
Like, that's a bitch mentality.
What are you, a bitch? No, it's like it takes me a lot of convincing. That's why I have to actually like sit down and like focus on that thought.
Yeah.
To get myself into that mindset of like, you know, to spin it in a more positive way.
Yeah.
Because like the automatic reaction is like that doubt just kicks in. It's
And then you
oh,
don't want to
shit.
do anything because
Yeah. Like it's like that. It's not even hesitation. It's like kind of like freezes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
So I told you I need therapy. No, but yeah.
I'm just interested. Like, do you, when you like try stuff and like film stuff still, do you like still have the joy when you do it?
I think like I feel the joy when I'm in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm sitting around not doing it and thinking about it, like the thought doesn't give me the joy. It's the act of it that gives me the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I have to be in the thick of it, and then I'll be like, fuck yeah, game mode.
Like when you're creating, that's when you feel like the joy of it.
Yeah. If I'm sitting around just stuck with myself, then nah, I don't really feel the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of like doing intentionally bad things? Like, oh wow, that sounds weird. Well, like intentionally bad like work, or like work to just be like, I'm gonna go rapid fire and just give myself like a time to do this as good as it is for like, you know, like one day to just do whatever the best I can, and then I'm just gonna wash my hands of it and move on to the next thing.
More so like that's happening more so these days.
Yeah.
Previously it'd be like, nah, it's gotta be polished.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to stop until it's polished. That's the kind of like aching feeling that sort of creeps in all the time. It's like if it's not good enough, it's not going out there.
Damn.
Nowadays it's like whether it goes out there or not, the priority and intention is learning.
Yeah.
So say for example the Blender stuff, it's like I did a tutorial the other day where I just had to build like very basic polygons and just the basic block building
Yeah.
with like a road and some trees and like whatever. Actually looked pretty reasonable, but like in terms of like that previous standard I always keep, it's like obviously nowhere close.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, okay, I learned what I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I got what I needed to get out of this. It's going to take some time like anything else does, but I'm enjoying learning something. So I want to keep doing this, and I'll get to that point when I get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like climbing. It's like I wanted to get so good at climbing in such a short amount of time that I completely disregarded how the body functions.
Yeah.
Because like the way the physio put it was like tendons and ligaments, which you use quite a lot, and there's a lot of them in your fingers and your wrists and your hand and everything. They take 2 to 3 months, whereas muscles take anywhere from like a week to 2 weeks to develop.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all these pull-ups and upper body exercise to get stronger, and I definitely got stronger, and I was like, fuck yeah. But I wasn't doing any exercises that was helping to get my tendons and ligaments stronger as well over that time, like especially in lockdown.
Yeah.
So I came to the gym, I'm feeling strong, but my fingers and stuff aren't ready.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing harder climbs because I think I can, and then I'm not resting properly. I keep pushing myself, and then all of a sudden I just get an injury. I'm like, how did this happen? I felt stronger.
Yeah.
But it's like, actually, you didn't give yourself time to let your hands catch up to the rest of your body. You're going at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months ahead of where your body was actually capable of doing.
Yeah.
So that's how you got the injury. So I'm like, okay, well, shit, I didn't actually look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the other end where it's like where you get too excited and you get too wrapped up in like what you want to do that you kind of disregard everything else.
That's me legitimately like when I fixate on things.
Yeah, like I have those moments too with a lot of oops. I mean, I have that tendency as well with a lot of different things too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like sometimes I do need to run face first into a wall to tell me to like, oh wait, actually you need to slow down, or like you need to think about this too.
Yeah.
But putting into the context of like stagnation, yeah, it's really about just like taking a second to realize like love the joy of learning
Yeah.
rather than like having the goal of like I have to be better. Because thinking of it in that way puts that added self-pressure to be almost like a perfectionist, even though I keep saying like, oh, I've dropped the whole perfectionist thing.
Yeah.
It's like actually that mindset is still kind of there through other means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really working through that to then have that intention of like learning is the main goal. Yeah.
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 No, I think that like, yeah, as long as like learning is like the main thing, I feel like that's like the one thing that kind of keeps me interested, like with a lot of like trying to get better at basketball.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, like it's just this one thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what I keep on telling myself. Oh, it's just this one thing I need to learn. Oh, it's just this one thing.
I think that's a good way of doing it though. It kind of simplifies it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I probably have a better way of like expressing or wording all of this stuff. But to be honest, actually, now that I think about it, it's like my first time sort of saying this out loud. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to. And then when you say it out loud, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that makes no sense.
Yeah. And then you go, oh, hold on, let me just rephrase that. And you go, okay, this is a way better way of saying it.
Yeah. Or like it might click like in a week's time or like 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's not what I meant.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I feel as though like, yeah, especially when it comes to something that's like a bit harder to measure,
Yeah.
then, you know, it's one of those things where you have to really go, okay, well, you know, there's got to be something in here that I want to like, you know, work on, or like something that I got to focus on.
Yeah, for sure.
I would totally be interested to see like if you could just do like one of those like, oops, if you could do one of those like, okay, well, you've got like a week to do, or like, you know, for the next 2 weeks you do like one thing a day, and like, you know, like one technique a day, you have to try and like, you know, figure it out and then just give it your best shot and then go, oh, cool, like that's it, done, and then move on to the next one for the next one.
Yeah, yeah. See, like the immediate gut reaction to that is like, oh man, it's gonna be so shit. Like I don't want to like document that or put that out there because it's like, oh, it's not gonna be good. But really, it's like, no, that's gonna help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a content perspective as well, you know, it's kind of like that, the human behind the account.
Yeah, I definitely want to do it though because like I want to learn. I want to get better. So yeah.
That would be sick. I would totally be down to see that. I would campaign for that. That should be like a part of like the Refine the Mind.
Yeah.
Kind of be like unrefined.
Unrefine the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I feel like it's like because I have so little pressure on me, unless it comes to like business, you know, and closing like deals and like getting people to pay stuff. But like when it comes to like creative stuff, there's like so little pressure on me. I'll just be like, yeah, I'll just do whatever's. But in saying that, I can totally relate to like the whole like, oh shit, is it good enough? Because that's why I don't really post on like Instagram. Smash the stories though.
Yeah. That's totally it though. It really is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think moving forward, like that's why. Actually, yeah, I'll put it this way. The reason why I've been having more and more ideas and more motivation to try things out is because I've been opening up the floodgates to trying things out.
Yeah.
Again, it's like doing so much to the point you get tunnel vision, that you block out everything else. And then it's like, oh shit, when did it get this way? Like linking back to what I said about like, oh, you know, TikTok and other mediums and stuff, like who uses that? Like not who uses it, but like, why would I want to use that and stuff?
Yeah.
And then coming to this point, it's like, oh my God, was I always that close-minded? It's like, no, I wasn't. I just let myself get this way.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, let's open it back up again and let's Let's have some fun
Yeah.
and let's learn.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see just I'm
The
excited
shit
to
show.
see the bad things. Like the things that you're not so proud of.
Uh-huh.
Because then like that's just like a good sign of, you know, that you're trying to push past like any kind of barriers that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the funniest thing. No, it wasn't funny actually. It was terrible. Like in a work setting, like at my job. Like I was put in a situation where I was like I had no idea what I was doing, and I sort of
I
had
dream
to.
about those moments.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking nightmares.
Well, I had to like kind of figure it out, everything like start to finish, and like
Yeah.
in terms of like what was delivered in the end was like a really good outcome.
Oh, nice.
But like the journey there was like a slog.
Yeah.
But then like now, if I'm in that situation, I'll be like, oh man, I know what to do.
Yeah.
So like the initial, I always like the technology and like agile. There was like create MVPs, like minimum viable products,
Right.
which is basically just like this is passable, it's functional.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't have to look good or anything like that. Like this is the beta, and then you can fix it up from there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm always just trying to achieve. Like every time, that's how you can kind of tell. It's like, oh, it's 60%. Yeah, it's done.
Oh man, this is stuff of nightmares. Like I've been in positions like that too before, and like I definitely learned a lot from those. Yeah.
It just sucks.
It definitely sucks, but like yeah, at least like when you get to the outcome, it's like, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I guess if you spin it in your other way, you can be like, I'm giving myself 5 days to try 5 different techniques and have to publish them, and then after that I can revisit them. So then it's just like this is just like the first installment to some fucking gangster shit at the end.
So like this was a crazy example, but like I found on YouTube this kid's showreel, and when I say kid, it's because it's 14.
Oh yeah.
So he did 2 years of Blender in total, and fucking hell, it's ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you see his first few months, it's like, oh yeah, like
The donut.
the donor,
Yeah.
the basic like tutorials, and like it's actually a really good showreel because like he actually like linked like some of the tutorials that he did follow.
Nice.
I was like, oh, this kid's really on it, and then like it just gets better like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? You're like a year in. I will say like he probably has maybe some background in like media in general, like
Yeah.
aesthetically speaking,
Like he's
because like
got
he
the
has an
eye.
eye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you might have done something, and maybe not 3D at all, but like you have some sort of influence somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's not to take away from his skill over there. They're like he got good because he got good.
Yeah.
Like not taking anything away from his work. But like that example is like an extreme example of that process.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, holy shit, for a 14-year-old kid who should be like playing games and like having fun during high school, he's gotten so good at Blender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or maybe that is him having fun in high school.
probably is, yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, like that is kind of like me as well. I mean, I did editing in high school, so that's where I got it from.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keen to see it. Keen to see.
I'll do some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might actually do that. No, I will do it. I'll do it.
It's just fun. Like, I think I'll do stuff too, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not gonna be like of that caliber. It's just more like, I guess, like taking down my own barriers in a similar way.
Yeah.
If we're in it together, we're in it together.
All right, done.
You're like, your stuff is trash.
Nah, more like I'm so shit.
Yeah, you'd be like, at least I'm not that shit. Nah. But yeah, like I guess like the expression side. I mean, like to be honest, screw it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's gonna help you later on down the track, and like the stuff that you do, like what I love is like when things go wrong, deadly wrong, and like you kind of find a way to make something happen, but then
Yeah.
the next iteration of it on like the next client project for example, or the next like video that we do, it's just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because like you guys completely missed the fact that like we butchered this other thing before.
Yep.
Like when I'm looking at the DBS video,
Yep.
I'm like, I was on the slider and I'm seeing like this fucking inconsistent movement. Like I'm seeing like, you know,
That's
slight
about to change
warping.
soon, by the way.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh shit. Like that was the starting point for doing like a lot of the other automobile stuff. Or
Yeah.
automotive.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. So like, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's just reminding myself of that same spirit. Like when I look back to where I was when I first started to where I am now, it's like, hey, you didn't get to where you are now by thinking in the way that you're thinking right now. You got there because you wanted to learn, and you were very like assertive about that. You had the initiative, the confidence to go out there and try to learn it,
Yeah.
and you enjoyed that as well. So, yeah, it's just reminding myself of that and bringing it to now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also the main thing. Like if you're having fun,
Yeah.
like if it's not fun,
Yeah.
damn.
That's just sad. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you just don't want to be jaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can vibe with that for sure.
On that note, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be jaded.
Yes, do not.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by. No, you take it away, man.
Will do. All right. Thanks for stopping by for another episode of Take 2. You can catch the full audio podcast on our Spotify and our full video podcast on our Facebook and soon to be YouTube as well, which we'll talk about more next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just catch us on the Flippity Flip. We'll see you guys next time, and you see us and hear us next time.
Yeah, and enjoy the fun of learning. Was that enjoy?
Yeah. Enjoy the fun of learning.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Just enjoy.
Yes.
Have fun.
Learn.
And learn.
All right.
Okay.
I was gonna say like in the next episode.
Dragon Ball Z.
I was like, oh, maybe not.
5 episodes later, still charging up. But yeah. Anyways, see you guys next time.
Thanks for stopping by. Bye.
See ya. Batman turn out. Oh my god, my neck. Oh shit.